everybody. So this is the Hallmarkies podcast, and we are very excited to have another episode of our Christmas Countdown to Christmas coverage. And this is our fourth weekend of movies that we're talking about. We had 4 movies on the slate this weekend. And I'm Rachel, and Amber's here.
Hello, everyone. This is the big one. This is the Godwink Christmas.
Yes.
Get ready. Buckle up.
And we are so thrilled to have our very good friend, Emma from the Hallremark, is here.
Merry Countdown to Christmas, everyone. Yay. I just wanted to say it is so crazy that I'm on one of your Christmas episodes, because when I listened to you guys last year and I fell in love with you guys, I used to think, how fun would it be if they invited me on? And then I've been on here a bunch of times, and now I'm on a Christmas episode, and I am a little excited.
Like, I'm going to be completely honest. If there was a reasonable way for me to think, like, you know what, I wonder if Emma would just come blog on our website, I would make that happen, but I don't think you'll give up your post.
I probably won't, because I like my name too much.
Yeah, I know.
We'd have you on every week, but you probably love to sleep more because you're on a different time zone.
Sleeping is good.
Yeah, that's right, because the first time we had you on was in February, right? For the
for President's Day.
That's right. Wow, time flies.
Hashtag my dates with the president's daughter.
Going to be talking about 4 movies on this episode. We're talking about Christmas in Graceland, Return to Christmas Creek, Christmas in Evergreen, Letters to Santa, and The Godwinks Christmas. And
we're obviously going to make you wait until the end to hear our thoughts on A Godwink Christmas.
Better believe it. That's right.
Not only did it air last, but everybody's here to hear our thoughts on Paul Campbell and Kay Stud.
And
Kay Stud?
It's fun, right?
Yeah, I love it.
So tons of podcasts that all fed into this weekend. There's so much you can listen to if you want to be fully prepared and primed for this weekend's coverage. We have an interview with Andrew Francis, an interview with Barbara Niven, an interview with Jill Wagner. We have 2 interviews. We have a combined interview with Kimberly Sested and Paul Campbell. And we have individual interviews with both of them. It's really, really crazy. And so you've got a lot of homework to do if you're a fan of the podcast. Hopefully you've been listening to them all along the way.
Listen, kids, if you don't have time to listen to all of our podcasts, that's fine.
That's right.
Only listen to what you want to listen to. And then if you feel like boosting our numbers by just like pushing play and then scrolling to the end, that's fine too.
Yeah, you take it all, whatever you can. That's right. And so, all right, we're going to talk about the first movie, Christmas in Graceland. This is touted as the first movie ever to be filmed in Graceland.
Did anyone fact check that, or do we just believe them?
I just believed them.
Why would they lie to us?
You know, I'm a cynical person.
All right, so this movie, it is pretty simple. Kelly Pickler's character gets sent to Memphis. She's an executive for something, and she for an investment firm or something like that. And she gets sent to Memphis to see if this local bank wants to merge, I guess, kind of with them or be purchased by them. And she has an offer. And the owner of this bank is the cheerfulest, Christmassy, nicest employer in the whole world. And
Emma, let me ask you a question. If it had turned out, plot twist, the guy who owns this bank is Santa Claus, would you have been surprised?
I mean,
yes. If his hair was whiter.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Did he have a beard?
No. And so he didn't look like Santa, but in every other aspect, didn't he feel Santa-esque?
Yeah, I can be down with that.
Yeah. It's a terrible, terrible movie, but it reminded me of, this isn't a terrible movie, but it reminded me of a terrible movie. It reminded me of this movie, The Circle, which was absolutely horrible, but this Silicon Valley, supposed company or whatever, they have like so much going on to entertain these employees that it's like it's just like, how are you making any money, first of all? And second of all, at a certain point, I'm like, I really want to do stuff with my family. I don't really want to do everything with my coworkers. Like, what? And they get these big speeches about how, like, you're not being a good coworker or a good team player or whatever. Like,
was this a cult movie?
Yeah, it's a terrible movie with Emma Watson in it. It's got Tom Hanks in probably the worst movie of his entire career. It was laughably bad. But anyway, we're talking about a better movie right now. So Kelly Pickler, she's down there, and she used to be a part of a duo group, and so she ends up meeting back with Wes Brown's character, who was also, it was the duo in the group, and she ends up getting kind of roped into playing at this concert in Graceland, and she has this little daughter, and she has a good friend named Sally, and there's all kinds of conflict and shenanigans that happen. So Emma, what was your overall thoughts about this movie?
Why'd you gotta start with me? I thought the decorations were really pretty.
Yeah. Okay.
I loved the silver tinsel trees with the multicolored light bulbs.
Uh-huh.
I loved Sally's decorations at her house. And I just liked being at the hotel and Graceland or Graceland. Not sure which way I'm supposed to go with that. But I do have some major beef with this movie, but it has nothing to do with the acting or how it was made, and I'll get into that later.
Yeah,
I am flabbergasted, honestly.
What?
I don't know what this means.
That I have major beef?
Yes. What can this major beef that has nothing to do with the plot or the acting or the directing?
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily. I'll get into it.
I'm excited. I'm excited for this beef.
So, okay. Amber, what about you? What are your overall thoughts?
Yeah. Okay. No, so I think that her child was really cute.
Yeah, she was really cute.
Emma, like, her voice was pretty cute. It was like a little bit crazy how high her voice was, but she was cute, and I liked the story with their friendship of her and the little girl. And I feel like Wes Brown did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
He does have a nice singing voice.
Yeah, who knew, right?
And I don't think he was really playing the piano, but I think he did a pretty good job of pretending that he played the piano.
And that really was Elvis's piano. He said on Home and Family that they had to make up a set for that one scene, but they actually had the piano from Graceland there.
Interesting.
That's what he said.
Yeah, so the Elvis of it all was great. I will complain one time real quick up front about the fact that they were like Blue Christmas for the super dramatic walking montage. And that didn't fit for me.
A little too on the nose for you?
No, it was like Blue Christmas does not have the right feel for that kind of a moment in a Hallmark movie.
Interesting.
Because for me, like, a Blue Christmas is like, I'm sad, but I'm excited about it. Like, you know, like, what? I don't know.
I don't really understand, but I guess.
Like, do you listen to Blue Christmas and feel sad at all?
No, I get what you're saying, but the excited about it part.
It kind of makes you, like, if I was like, I'll have a blue, and you'd be like, yeah, you know what? I'm feeling this. Let's be sad all night. Yeah. Blue Christmas without you.
That never occurred to me ever. So
I guess I'm upset they didn't sing Blue Christmas.
Yes. That was a thing. We're not like who picked the songs for this? Obviously all the Elvis songs were fun. But we'll talk about it. Rachel, I know Rachel has an issue.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, Rachel.
All right. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. It's not like one of my favorite movies I've ever seen in my life, but I thought it was perfectly enjoyable for a Saturday night relaxing and watching a Christmas movie. I thought it was fine. I thought that Wes Brown was super swoon worthy, and I've seen him in a lot of movies, and I personally thought it was one of his most, if not his most, swoon worthy movie. I really dug him, and I think I'm excited to listen to all the Feels Girls posts, because whoever was tweeting for them was definitely on the same wavelength as me with Wes Brown, because we were both just kind of like, oh my gosh, he's so great. Both at the same time. We were just like feeding each other's like swooning. It was pretty fun. That's all it takes, is a really swoon-worthy guy, and I'm okay. I'm gonna enjoy it. But anyway, I thought it was perfectly fine. I was surprised when I heard people like saying it was one of the worst they'd ever seen and stuff, and I'm like, really? Wow, okay. But I do have some problems with it. I do think that they had. I disagree with you about the Elvis being enough. I felt like I wish we'd been in Graceland a little bit more. I felt like we really just saw the 2 rooms, and maybe the other rooms aren't that pretty or something, but I really liked that one scene when they're kind of going up the staircase. I'm like, I want to go up the staircase. Like, maybe they just weren't allowed, but I would have enjoyed a little bit more time spent in Graceland, personally.
Well, I mean, technically, the whole time they were at the hotel with the very eager concierge,
yeah, right.
They were technically in Graceland.
What?
Yeah, the guest house at
Hotel?
Graceland. That's part of Graceland.
The hotel is?
Yes.
Oh, I see. I didn't realize that. I didn't know that. But anyway, so I don't know. I just would have liked to have gotten in the house more, I guess, and had more Graceland. But I that was fine. You know, I thought it was fine. And I did like the relationship between her and her daughter. That was really sweet. And I liked her and Sally. I thought they were fun. I thought they felt like friends, and I don't know. I bought it. I thought it was cute how Sally's always making all these crafts.
It was too many crafts for me. In the world, like, I was like, every day she's like, this is our new activity for the day. We're just going to make. Also, okay, so I did watch this after I watched A Godwin's Christmas. Spoiler alert for A Godwin's Christmas. And I was like, what? With the mason jar snow globes? What is happening here?
Yeah, people are loving that craft. Yeah.
Do we need to make mason jar snow globes?
I think we might.
Emma,
Probably.
have you made one yet?
I haven't, but I mean, I will.
Yeah.
I have to now.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question. For your mason jar snow globe, are you going to have a tiny, tasteful pine cone tree, or like a claymation snowman family?
Can
There
I
is
have
no
a
wrong
little
answer.
bit of both? There's not a both?
No, I said there's no wrong answer.
Oh, okay. I would do a little bit of the mixing together.
Okay,
Possibly.
this is your new mission. We're each going to make one,
Okay.
and then we're going to post them on the internet.
Yeah.
And everyone can just admire them. There's no contest. We
Yeah.
just are doing it.
Yeah. All right.
I mean,
good
I
deal.
actually want to do that. So
I'm serious. What's happening?
fine.
We're going to post them, and we'll just post them.
Yeah.
I might
Let's do
just
it.
end up drawing mine, but we'll see.
You're going to draw it? No. This needs to be
Okay.
a tactile snow globe.
Emma, you need to participate in Christmas crafts. It's an essential part of the whole
Okay.
season.
Okay, I'm not a real
Sure.
Hallmarky if I don't.
And
My
yeah,
bad.
so I guess I'm really confused, because if that's the it was like a whole hotel with like multiple levels and stuff. It wasn't just a guest house.
No, it's called the Guest House at Graceland, and it's a big fancy hotel on Graceland. It's a part of property on Graceland.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like, you know how Disneyland also has like Hotel Disney?
Right. I got you.
Girl,
So-
that's part of Disney still.
Because the one thing I wondered
Girl.
about is, do you think they really have grand pianos in the rooms?
I would actually not be surprised, because it wasn't just a room, it was a suite.
It was
And the real
super
fancy
nice.
ones, probably.
I mean, I can't imagine anything more annoying than if I had spent big bucks on a hotel room and my neighbors next door were playing the piano. That would be the worst.
And singing Silent Night over and over and over again.
I can't believe that. I mean, you'd have to have such soundproofing to not have that just get to every room. But it worked for the movie, I thought, created like these cute little moments. But yes, why did they sing Silent Night 3 times?
I don't know. And here's the thing. I was kind of okay with it, like saying, okay, that's the song they're going to sing at the concert. I can get behind it. Like, she's practicing. That seems legit. And then we get to the concert and they don't even sing that?
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Yeah.
I was like, are you kidding me?
I mean, I get that they probably that's probably a free song. So not probably, it is a free song because it's super old. But there's lots of other carols that are like really old that you could sing.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
That was weird. But I don't know why they did that. That was funny. But the
I mean, when he was like, oh yeah, Silent Night is your favorite song, we were like, we get it.
Yeah, right. So yeah, the her name's Kathy Nelson was the name of the hotel desk clerk, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she's played by Rhoda Griffiths, and she was very attentive.
It was like, I'm not gonna lie, if I went to a hotel and the person was that attentive to me, I would not enjoy it unless it was like a super handsome single man. I would be like, please don't pay this much attention to me. This is a business transaction.
It was.
Emma, are you with me? I feel like you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'd be like, please stop looking at me and asking me questions, but also
please stop giving my child presents.
Right? Is she giving every child a snow globe?
My guess is yes, probably.
Probably maybe people that stay at that super fancy suite with piano.
Guess, yeah.
Maybe that's the key. Okay. If you have a child and you stay in the piano suite, then you get a present. I don't know.
Like, to be fair, I don't know what it's like to stay in the fancy suite. Maybe they're just that way to all the fancy suite people.
Yeah, I don't know either. I've never stayed in a fancy suite. So yeah, that's
so all of our fancy suite listeners, tell us if this is normal or if she was like going a little too far.
And if anybody,
do you always get a snow globe?
Yeah,
every time you stay in a fancy suite.
Yeah, has anybody ever seen a piano in a hotel room? Please let us know in the comments. I want to know. But yeah, no, she was a little much, but she wasn't in the movie that much. I was fine with her. And the do you think that they would really allow you to have a Christmas tree in your room? Because I would think the maid's service would be so irritated.
In a fancy suite, they would. I mean, honestly, I think a fancy suite, they're like, you're paying $1,000 a night. You can do whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah, but I was like, man, those things are going to get pine needles everywhere. And I would be
a fire hazard.
Yeah, fire hazard. That's true. I thought that they had decent chemistry between Kelly Pickler and Wes Brown. I mean, he did kind of carry the movie. He was so dishy in this movie for me. And he's a veteran. He knows what he's doing.
He did a great job.
Yeah.
Being in his part.
Yeah.
The problem with the acting was the lip syncing was off.
That was so frustrating to me. I'm like, I'm sure she's done music videos, so she should know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the problem was with that, but that
I kind of felt like I was watching the Phantom of the Opera.
There was a lot of ADR in this movie, you could tell. No, some of it was better than others. I will agree with you there. But I don't know.
I liked when she said,
I didn't think it was that bad.
At him and she was like, bullseye. Because it took me a second to realize what she said, and it was tickled me. It was funny.
Yeah.
I'm just like really surprised that you guys haven't touched upon my major beef at all.
Yes, share.
Because I watched this with my mom today, and she threw her hands above her mouth and said, "Oh no, she did not just say that." She was freaking out. Okay. It is when Laurel is talking to Emma and they're having the dreams versus responsibilities talk. Did this not drive?
Yes, I actually
okay.
Bother me.
Okay. So, mommy, you can't follow your dreams and be responsible or whatever. And she says, well, you can't always follow your dreams you have to do your responsibilities, and you're my most important responsibility. And it's like, why couldn't she just have said, you are another one of my dreams? Like, you
Or
can have
like,
more than one dream.
you're
Like,
you're my most important dream. Like, you're way better than being a singer.
I
Whatever.
just can't
That's true.
imagine
That's a good
telling,
point.
I can't
It did
imagine
bug
telling
me.
my daughter that I'm not like, I don't have a writing job because of you. You know what I mean? That's just like so terrible.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
that's
I
not
never
how
thought
I
of that,
feel at all,
but-
by the way. But it's just like, because I can write from home, and I do. But I just can't imagine like my mom telling me that, oh, you're my responsibility, after talking about not being able to follow her dreams. It ticked me off. I was so mad. I yelled about it. I wasn't very eloquent just now talking about it because I'm so mad about it.
No, that's a good
and
point.
completely
I hadn't noticed that.
It bothered me at the time that I was watching it.
Mhm.
I was like, why didn't she say she was her dream? Like, making her seem like saying she's her responsibility is just, it's like, well, I
Mhm.
have to take care of you.
I know, I have multiple dreams. One of them is to be a writer, and one of them was to be a mom, and I am a mom, and I'm like grateful for that. It just really ticked me off. I thought, and then later in the movie she said, I'm trying to model a fearless daughter who goes after her dreams, after telling her how she didn't go after her dream. It's just too much. That made me so mad, but I could be being sensitive.
No, and here's the thing, like, legitimately, my biggest dream is to be a mom. And like, if I can't do that by finding a husband and then having children, I'm gonna like be a foster mom. Like, this is
Mhm.
not like, this is a dream with a plan, so it's a goal. But like, I don't know. It bugged me. I'm on team. That was irritating.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I must have, I don't know, just skipped over
What?
that.
No.
I was busy live tweeting or something because I
You
didn't
were
remember
busy
that.
just
But
thinking about
yeah,
all of
you're
your
right.
feelings
For
about
Wes Brown.
Brown.
You're like, Wes Brown's really hot.
I was just tweeting with all the feels about how hot Wes Brown was.
You guys are like, Wes Brown's so handsome. Who cares
I
about
watched
this movie? I'm just kidding.
I honestly watched the scene 4 times because I was so upset. I had to make sure I was hearing it correctly.
You're
thought
so funny. I can't believe you rewatched it just to hate watch it.
Well, I didn't want to be outraged like by misunderstanding it. So if I'm gonna like be mad about something, I'm going to research to make sure I'm actually mad about it.
You're so
So.
funny. I just hate
Amazing.
watch things immediately. Like, I don't, no research. I just know.
That's funny.
So there's
So, yeah, and I did think it's obviously very silly that they just happen to have this whole choir and everything like the end but I still kind of like the song. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. The
No,
end,
it was
any song.
the songs were fine at the end, I guess.
Amber, how many crowns did you give this one?
So I gave this one 2.95 crowns.
There you go. Okay.
I know it sounded like I was going to be meaner, but that's what I gave it. I mean, it wasn't, I probably won't watch it again if it comes up, and that's a 3. But I didn't really want to be dead while I was watching it, so I don't feel like it deserves less.
Okay, great. Emma, how many would you give it?
Well, I still wanted to be alive while watching it, but it's getting a 2.
Okay.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Okay.
So I give it 3.5 crowns. I enjoyed it, and maybe that a lot of it is Wes Brown crowns. I don't know. But I have it at 35 in my ranking of movie. So they're
That
out
really
of
got me, Rachel.
what's that?
The Wes Brown crowns really got me.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah. All right, good. And I have that we've watched so far 66 movies this since so far in Hallmark world. So there you go. So I have it at 35 for Hallmark for this year. All right, let's move on. Okay, next movie is Return to Christmas Creek. And this movie is about a woman named Amelia, played by Tori Anderson, who she doesn't have Christmas spirit. and we'll talk about that. And she goes to visit her long lost uncle, who her father has this riff with over a business disagreement over this inn that they ran that he's still running. And while there, she reunites with her childhood friend Mike Ruggles, great name in my opinion. I liked Stephen Huzar, and then everything kind of is all this family drama and romance and all this stuff. So this movie, I have to admit, it really kind of maybe a little bit offended me at the beginning, and I had a hard time kind of getting over that and like enjoying it after that. Even though it was just this little part of the movie, it really annoyed me because she is presented as this person who doesn't have Christmas spirit. And I disagreed with both of the reasons that they claimed she doesn't have Christmas spirit. First of all, she has this app that she's presenting to them that help you to find the perfect gift for your friends. You put in their tastes, their styles, their whatever, and they give you the perfect Christmas present, and they even will send it or whatever. And I think this sounds like a great idea. And aren't we constantly getting told that Christmas is too much, it's too commercialized, that we spend too much time, the shopping and the whatever, and that's this negative thing. And so here's this person saying, I not only will help you reduce your time shopping, but I will help you to get the perfect gift for the person that you love. There's some people are really hard to buy for. And their immediate reaction is like, wow, you are a Scrooge for even wanting this, for thinking about it. And like her assistant was so rude. I was just like, what is wrong with you? And I don't know. Did you guys think the app sounded pretty cool, or do you have any thoughts on that?
I was a little confused about, let's be honest. I felt like the app required universal adoption in order to become useful.
Uh-huh.
Like you had to have your people's information logged into your app account and linked and follow their lives, and then it would give you their good gift. I don't know.
Social media, that would actually be really easy. You just, if they're on your Facebook, they could upload
I'm just saying it would require adoption by those other people, because you can't just take someone's Facebook information without asking. There was a whole thing about that. Just ask Zuckerberg about this. He knows.
I don't know, but I just thought in theory, if you were really able to execute it, it would actually be really pro-Christmas, not anti-Christmas.
I can see what you're saying, because it leaves more time to spend with family as opposed to being at stores.
Yeah. I
don't know. I didn't give it that much thought.
But you know how they say it's the thought that counts?
Mm-hmm.
This is I don't need no thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I got Zuckerberg.
But the main thing that I really was irritated by, and I know this is a nitpick, but it really bothered me, is that she has this thing of going to Turks and Caicos. That's her tradition that she's done for a bunch of years in a row, right? And her family is kind of a broken family, and it seems to be just her parents. I don't think she had any siblings. And she has this tradition of going to Christmas with her family, her parents, early, and they have this whole smorgasbord thing. And they do that, and then she goes to Turks and Caicos. And I'll be honest with you, I have not spent Christmas Day with my parents since 2014. And that was actually, I got deathly ill that day. So I haven't had a pleasant Christmas with my parents and my family for a long time. Do I not celebrate Christmas with my family? No, I absolutely do. I just don't do it on Christmas Day, because typically this year, my parents are going to be visiting my sisters, and they're going to be divided up. And so I'm probably either going to celebrate it the week before or the week after. And it'd be one thing if there was some big family event that she was missing, right? Because she was going to Turks and Caicos. That's not the case. She still had Christmas with her parents. And so it just really irritated me that everybody in the movie was like, oh, you're going to Turks and Caicos? What's wrong with you? And her boyfriend breaks up with her over it,
I'm pretty sure her boyfriend broke up with her over it because he was like, come to my family's thing. And she was like, no.
This has been a tradition she's been doing for multiple years. Why couldn't she come meet his family for New Year's? Like, that's a simple compromise.
They don't fly together until they're only together on Christmas.
I don't know. I just thought that was really ridiculous because plenty of people celebrate Christmas not on Christmas Day. And if you're still with your family, then that's still celebrating Christmas. It doesn't have to be on Christmas Day. And I just thought the whole movie treated her like this like Scrooge character when she had spent time with her family. She'd celebrated Christmas. I don't know. It really irritated me and it kind of ruined the movie. And I know maybe that's ridiculous, and I thought that all the family drama was just like irritating and I didn't like it. And so I didn't really care for this movie. But that was my big thing where I was just like, you know what? If you celebrate Christmas a week early, you're still celebrating Christmas and you can go to Turks and Caicos and you can enjoy it. So.
I mean, that's fair. That's a fair thing to say, but I think it's also fair of her boyfriend being like, hey, come meet my family for Christmas. That's a big thing. And she being like, no, I refuse. Is enough of a reason for him to be like, you know what? We're not in sync about what's happening here.
I don't know. I feel like you should be able to make some kind of compromise that could work. And she'd already bought the ticket. So, like, why didn't they have this conversation way before? Like, this is like 2 weeks before the event. Like, that's kind of, she's going to be leaving in like a couple of days.
Emma?
I mean, I can see both sides. Like, I'm so boring over here. I understand both.
This is why we need a third person to come on the podcast and mediate, because Rachel and I would just fight about this for like 2 hours.
I had a really hard time getting into this movie, so I didn't dwell on much of it, so I didn't form as many opinions about the beginning stuff. But I really do understand what Rachel's saying, but I'm also understanding like that boyfriend breaking up with her because if they're not on the same page wanting to celebrate Christmas together. Like, if my husband were like, no, I'm gonna do, like, before we got married, didn't want to spend Christmas with my family, I'd be like, well, we don't have the same values. I don't know.
I don't think the idea is inherently anti-Christmas like they were saying. Like, I think there's a argument, certainly a side to be made, that it's pro-Christmas and that it. So I don't know. I just thought especially her assistant, I was like, what is wrong with you? Like, you're being so rude. It really irritated me. But I don't know. It just struck too close to home because I don't spend Christmas with my family ever. And, you know,
What do you do on Christmas, Rach?
I usually end up going to movies.
What would you do if you had a boyfriend and he was like, come with me to my family's house? And you were like, sorry, no, I go to movies on Christmas.
I would, but if I had a previously scheduled trip to Turks and Caicos that I had taken every year for like the last 4 or 5 years, I'm going to Turks and Caicos. I'm not going to like, I would say, okay, we need to compromise and we need to come up with another option when I don't have a very expensive trip already purchased and you're telling me this 2 days before my trip.
See, I could accept that, except for she still doesn't go to Turks and Caicos.
Yeah.
So it's not like the tickets were unrefundable and they meant that much to her.
That's fair, but I think the only reason she didn't go was because everybody was being so mean to her about it. So she's like, well, I got to go back to this town of Christmas Creek, because then people will, everybody will think I like Christmas again.
All the people that she told she was going?
Yeah, well, certainly everybody at work and that assistant.
Did she tell them she was going there?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Didn't tell them she was going to this place.
I don't know. I was so irritated that I don't even remember.
She didn't tell anyone. It was a clandestine going.
Well, she goes there and she meets Uncle Harry and she sees Uncle Harry and like he does not recognize her at all, which I feel like first of all, this is only 3 hours away and she's never gone there ever. Like, this is a super bad riff. And I was like, wow, it's just like a morning drive. What is the problem?
Also, her face was on the flyer, like, as a child, I guess, and she looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Well, like, you know how sometimes even people like in real life, you'll see someone from work at the store, and it takes you a second to be like, who is that person? I know them, because you're just not expecting to see them in that situation.
But with that person, I haven't kept their bedroom intact for 17 years.
And it's not a beloved niece who was like
I think it was
special.
I think it was just like he wasn't expecting it to be somebody, so he wasn't like, he didn't expect to recognize the person in the first place.
The shift between Harry and her dad goes back to this hotel and the dad deciding to leave and go to California to run a conglomerate of hotels or something. And he became a CFO, which is like really bad choice in Hallmark movies. Like, what are you doing? And it turned out he'd even been fired. We find out later, but there's all this tension between them. And but she's back, and then she meets and he has this ex, Pamela. What did you guys think of Pamela?
She was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was also hilarious after he was like, I've never seen you before, niece. That she walks by and she sees her like through a window, and she's like, hey, Amelia. I recognize you immediately.
Yeah.
That was so funny to me. I almost died. I will admit that.
What did you think of Pamela, Emma?
Oh, she was fine. I'm just over here having not a lot of opinions on this movie because I couldn't get into it. I tried so hard. Yeah, and I couldn't.
Yeah. Well, she certainly caves pretty quickly. Like they eat one meal together. It seemed like. Is
that caving or just being like, okay, well, I've been waiting for you to make a step, and now you've made one?
I don't know. I think if it was my ex and it ended, it seemed like kind of not great. I would be more cautious before starting into a relationship again with them.
I would hope I would be that way. But I probably wasn't like that in the past, to be honest.
Will say, their little singing together was actually so cute. Neither of them tried too hard.
Mm-hmm.
And they sounded nice, and they had good harmony together, and I was like, that's a nice little moment.
Yeah. That was good. I like that.
And another point for Amber.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I did like Tori Anderson. I think she has a lot of potential. She was warm. She was likable. And I would definitely see another thing with her in it. I enjoyed her. And so then she has this ex-friend or whatever, childhood friend, not ex-friend, named Mike Ruggles, played by Steven Zuzar. And I have to say, their relationship was pretty fun. I thought it was pretty well done. I kind of liked that he actually asked her on a date, because you don't always see that in Hallmark movies. It's just, they kind of forget that step a lot of times to actually, will you go on a date with me? And so I kind of enjoyed that. And their scenes together were actually probably my favorite part. Like I liked all the little chances at hand holding that they did, whether they're setting up the tree or like they were doing the snow angels and they just hold hands, and that was really cute. And I liked the whole scene when she's like rage packing. She's like, I'm out of here. And he's like, what are you doing? I thought that scene was good. So I thought they were pretty good. What did you think, Amber?
I thought they had good chemistry. I thought it was hilarious that she also, like, maybe their family's just really bad at recognizing people, because she didn't go like, oh, you're my friend from childhood whom I secretly loved my whole life.
Yeah. Family drama, which I was just not that into.
The reasoning was so anticlimactic too, and then all these adults were acting like children, and then Amelia was like, you're acting like children, and then she acted like a child when she was mad at Mike because he was trying to help her. I was so frustrated by how they were handling this.
And then
And, oh
Pamela
my
was like,
gosh.
all of you guys are the worst. Just move past it. It's been 20 years.
Real. And then they end up in the end, he's like, oh, I just lost my job, in fact, so we're gonna move back and we're gonna run, you be the CFO of this inn. And I was like, I don't see this working out very long. Like,
Yeah, I was thinking, how long is this gonna work? Will they stay together?
And then
No.
immediately he's like, I have actually some ideas where we could streamline it. And he's like, you can stick your ideas in the garbage where they belong. It was so funny.
So I don't see that arrangement lasting very long. But I did think they had kind of two or maybe even three final kisses, which was fun. And the one in the plane I liked.
That was cracking me up. They were making out like flying towards the moon. I'm like, you're gonna like wreck into the moon. What are you guys doing?
I don't think they're gonna crash into the moon.
You're gonna hit Santa. You're not watching where you're going.
How many crowns did you give this?
This is actually the lowest score I've ever given anything.
Right.
1.5 crowns.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was just so annoyed the entire time. So there you go.
Yeah. So, Amber, what about you?
Okay, so I guess you guys completely didn't even notice Nathan, the world's best front desk guy.
No, I did not.
Of course you didn't, but Emma?
I thought he was fine, and then I thought, I thought he was annoying after a while.
I also thought it was hilarious when they were having their like family dinner, and then he was like yelled from the ground, and he wasn't like, sorry, I'm not eavesdropping. Like, that was a missed moment, but he was delightful. I loved him. I loved his sweaters. Every time he came on the screen, I was like, Nathan. Anyway, I enjoyed it well enough. I'm giving it 3.2 crowns.
Wow, I'm a jerk.
No, I am giving it 2 crowns, which is probably generous, but I did
makes me a jerk.
I know, because I did like their relation. I thought it had some swoon-worthy moments. I give it. I have it at 64 in my ranking, so
Third from last.
Yeah. Christmas in Evergreen, Letters to Santa, and this is our sequel to the last year's Christmas in Evergreens with Ashley Williams and Teddy Sears. And in this one, they are back in Evergreen, but we have Jill Wagner playing a woman named Lisa who spent her childhood there in Evergreen. She particularly loved this particular store. And Maddie's, I think it was Maddie's General Goods or something like that. And Daisy's, you're right. Daisy's General Goods. And so she has really good memories of this. She's like a flipper kind of, or for business as a stager with Andrew Francis's character. And she finds out that this beloved store is going to be sold. And so she decides that she's going to renovate it. And she gets help from local contractor Kevin, played by Mark Declan. And they find an old letter to Santa, and it brings the whole town together. And we got most of our returning. This cast was stacked. It was a very, very good thing. They had Holly Robinson Peete. They had Barbara Niven. They had Rakia Bernard. The list just goes on and on. So, and Ashley Williams does make a decent appearance. So, what were your overall thoughts about this movie, Emma?
Oh, it was so fun.
Yeah.
I love the idea of going back to Evergreen. It's just so unapologetically Christmassy, and it makes me feel great. And I love that the town has a personality. There's the huge cast, and they all work really well together. There's not one I dislike. And it made me really happy the second that it started and Santa scolded the book for going too quickly. I thought, I'm going to love this movie. This is going to be so fun. This is one I want in a Hallmark movie. Just over-the-top Christmas and just a nice little story that's not stressful. And I just really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And I love Rukia so much. Mm-hmm. She needed to be in more of it, though.
Mm-hmm. What did you think, Amber?
It was amazing. Like I agree with you about Rukia needs to be in more of it.
So there were kind of little like pairings in this movie. So I thought that's kind of how we talk about it. So we have first Andrew Francis, Oliver, and Jill Wagner.
Oh, surprise, surprise. You named them first.
Yes. Well, they're the first people you see, in fairness, in the movie. And I love both these actors for sure, but I really enjoyed this, that he wasn't a wrong guy. Like, he thought he was the wrong guy, but he was always just the BFF, which I enjoyed. I thought that was nice. It was nice dynamics, a little bit of change of pace. And yeah, I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, I loved Oliver so much. I might like Oliver better than I like Kip from Coming Home for Christmas. He just cracked me up when he said, "Come on down, the ice is warm," and then did all these elaborate swirls.
That was so
like, this guy
funny.
is amazing. He's
that
amazing.
was. Did you die laughing when he did all of the tricks?
Yes.
It was that's got to be a Zach Hug edition, right?
Oh yes, I love Zach Hug.
Yeah. And I had tweeted out that Rick Garman was like, "Good job, Rick Garman, writing this." And because he's the one credited on IMDb, and he was like, "Don't thank me. Zach Hug was the one who did this." So he had described it on his Twitter as doing a rewrite, but who knows what? But good job, gentlemen. Whoever did what they did.
Gentlemen, tip of a hat. My Santa hat to you.
That's right. So I really thought that was fun. I think it was probably the best I've ever seen Andrew Francis in a Hallmark movie. So good job. Okay, then we had Holly Robinson Pete and this Colin Lawrence, who played Thomas, and I thought that was kind of fun. We could have used a little more of it. He's Rukia's brother, right?
Yeah, yes. But what would you have cut out to have more of that?
I don't know, but it was cute. I liked him. I liked when he had the reindeer cookie. He's like, she's like, it's a crown. It's like, no, it's a reindeer. I don't know.
She had to be joking, right? Because no crown has dangles on the bottom.
It was cute, and I thought that, I don't know, that was fun to see, because we don't really see Holly Robinson Pete doing as a romantic lead very much, and it was fun.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yep. And so then Rukia Bernard is the
it's her nephew.
Okay. I was like, is it his nephew or is it his son?
It's Thomas's son.
Okay. I wasn't sure. But she was great. She was just bright, and whenever she'd come on screen, I smiled.
Oh yeah. Yeah. She's so awesome. I just want her to be a lead.
Yeah. And so there starts this romance between Lisa and Kevin as they fix up the store, and he's pretty insecure in a way, and this movie was the king of the near kisses. There were so many.
I was wondering how you were feeling about it.
Oh my gosh. So everyone knows the scene, the double.
Yes.
I literally busted out laughing at the second one.
Yeah.
Like, hysterical. I had to rewind because I was missing things. It was the funniest.
It was so funny.
And I was actually so proud of them for being like, interrupted and then going back to it.
Yeah.
And then it was, and he made the noise he made when they came in the second time when he was like, blah! But it was like up there. It was so funny. And then when he's directing them to the decorations and the kid's like, "Can I help?" And she says, "Sure." And he's like, "In the back room."
I know.
It was so funny. And I'm going to guess that's Zach Hug again. It was so good. We need to tell Zach Hug how much we love
I want to interview him so bad because I just loved his movies so far. And I don't know, he just seems really fun. So
do it and tell him that I am proud and I approve and want him to do more movies.
Yes. All right, Zach, if you're listening, we know you are.
We don't know that he is.
DM us. He listened to the last one about his movie. He said he really liked it. So
when is this coming out, Rachel?
Wednesday.
Okay.
So if you do happen to listen, or if anybody can nudge him to listen, phone. We want to interview him because he was so great. Anyway, I mean, I liked that. I felt like this Kevin was pretty vulnerable character. Like he wasn't just like this boring paragon of virtue that sometimes these leading men could be, because he has this like this rift with his father and this complicated thing and this letter. I thought it made him kind of vulnerable, and that I liked, and I thought that Mark Declan did a good job.
I agree. I liked him.
Yeah.
I mean, at some points I was
so
like, chill.
charming.
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole like world was so beautiful, and it was so Christmassy. And they even had like, what was it? Like peppermint. They had that
Peppermint cocoa
cart that was like everywhere, like wherever they were. At the skating rink. There's the black coffee. And you'd think that he had like, done some horrible thing, need to be arrested. It was really funny.
Well, it's really confusing because in these movies, you're either evil because you order black coffee, or you're evil because you get an overcomplicated drink and you're a city person. Right. So it's really confusing which one they're going to be mad at you for.
Yeah.
It's when you order things like soy milk that you're bad.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I'd like a coffee with full cream, extra caramel, extra mint, extra.
But that's what he was
the
like,
fattening stuff. Yeah. That means you're a good person,
right?
But if you order stuff like a soy venti latte, no sugar, then you're fine.
That's really true. That's so funny. Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, there was the whole like mystery of the key that was involved with this, but that was interesting. But it ended up being the key to turn on the bells church or something, right? Yeah. So that was.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do they know he's Santa?
No, they're dum-dums.
Why are they
I think the kid knows.
Maybe.
Yeah. Crowns you give this?
Oh, I'm in between a 4.25 crowns.
Okay, great. Yeah, Amber?
I actually gave it 4.5 crowns.
That's the same as me. I also give it 4.5 crowns. And I have it at number 9 on my ranking. So very exciting, pretty high up. I want to officially thank Amy Lynn Craig, our very, very good friend, who filled in and live tweeted for us several times. And she's the best. And she had her wisdom teeth removed this week. And so we hope that she recovers quickly. And yay, we love you. Thank you so much for everything. We really appreciate it. So.
Yeah, Amy Lynn Craig was the MVP and allowed me to go to a play and allowed me to have a family dinner. Amy Lynn Craig, you the MVP of live tweeting this weekend.
We hope you're getting lots of ice cream and pudding and stuff like that for your teeth. But anyway, so let's talk about A God Week Christmas. So this is very exciting for all of us. This has Paul Campbell, Kimberly Sested, who are some of our favorites. We both love them. We both loved interviewing them. They are just the best. And so it was pretty exciting. This is based on the books by Squire Rushnell. He has these books called God Week books, which are kind of like Chicken Soup for the Soul, where he shares little stories about little coincidences and miracles that he believes are proof of divine intervention in our lives. And he just had a new one come out called God Winks Christmas. And here we have the movie A God Winks Christmas. This story about Gary and Paula is in his first book that he ever did. And they're really cute little books. Like if you just want to read like an inspirational story on like a Sunday or something, like it'd be a pretty good one to do. And so that I could see a lot of the potential. And it's basically about this woman played by Kimberly Sested named Paula, who has accepted this engagement. And when she's having some doubts, he sort of asked her in this kind of public way. So she said yes. But anyway, so she ends up getting the chance to go visit her aunt. Her aunt ends up having to go away. So she's there in Martha's Vineyard, and she ends up meeting Paul Campbell through these various circumstances. She ends up keep running into him, and they end up falling in love, and it's pretty cute. It stars Kathleen Gifford and Giles Panton is also in it, who we love them. And so, Amber, what was your overall thoughts on this one?
So I tried live tweeting it because I ended up watching it later, and then basically once Paul Campbell and Kimberly Sustad met, I was like, sorry, fingers, we have to put our full attention on the TV. This is too engaging.
So, Emma, what do you think?
Well, this is my dream cast. I know Amber will probably take credit for it, but a little over a year ago when I first started my blog, I had a post that's the Hallmark Christmas movie cast of my dreams, and both Kimberly and Paul were on that list. So when Amber told me that they were going to be together, I seriously almost fell to bed, and my husband was like, chill out. It's not that big of a deal. And I'm like, you don't understand. And it was like really dramatic. But yeah, so I was over the moon to see them together. And I also really like the message of God winks. That really spoke to me.
I really enjoyed it as well. I think, see, the thing is for me is I've always enjoyed all of Paul's films, but I've always felt like his leading ladies weren't up to his level.
How dare you?
Like, I don't hate him, but I just always felt like it wasn't.
To be fair, I actually can agree with you on that, because Paul Campbell operates at like an 11, much like Casey Anderson operates at an 11.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And all of his leading ladies have been like between a 7 and a 10.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And so this was the one where they got someone on his level. Finally.
Yeah, because Kimberly Sustad, K-Stud, is an 11.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so and I do like the idea of the God winks. I think that, and it played out really sweet. I mean, this movie will probably be too saccharine for some people, but I thought it was adorable. And I thought that they made every character feel like real and believable. Like even the wrong guy, and partly it's because Giles is the best, but he was believable. Like I could imagine, he was a lawyer, right? He was a lawyer.
Yeah.
I mean, being a young lawyer is like super hard, and you have to in order to be partner, you have to pretty much like sell your soul to the firm. It's brutal. And so I can imagine him taking all those calls, and him like, it's really hard. And so, whereas when they met, it was a different time. It was probably, I don't know, I can't remember when they said they met, but it was a different time where he didn't have that kind of burden on him. So I felt like he was a pretty good character for that kind of role. Actually, the Kathleen Gifford was pretty good.
She really was.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. Yeah. Full disclosure, I was worried about her. Yeah. I thought that it might drag down the movie for me. No way. She was great.
Yeah. Yeah, she was.
And that's just because she was an unknown entity to me. I didn't know how she was going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. She was warm. She was she was sweet. I
was handing out trips to friggin' Martha's Vineyard like they were candy.
Yeah. Right. Like a real place. And I think that helped a lot with this too, that it was based on true story. That
anything that you were like, really? I'd say, you know what? Yeah, really, it happened.
Yeah. Because that's the thing with romantic comedies is that a lot of people are like, oh, it's so unrealistic, it's so cheesy and whatever, and they can be, and they certainly are at times. But if you sit down and talk to almost anybody and tell us your story about how you met, you'll think this is pretty cheesy, but it's true. And there's something about romance that kind of has that characteristic to it, because it's just so cute. How people meet. I mean, I just think even my sister and her husband's story. I think of my brother and his wife's story, and it's basically a romantic comedy. I don't know. I don't know about if you kind of feel a little bit that way, like Emma at all.
Emma, what's your
Yeah.
story?
My meet cute is genuinely a god wink.
Yeah.
1000%.
Share. Unless you're saving it for your blog.
Oh no, it's fine. I had a pretty difficult year, and I don't know. I was back home for the summer in college, and I usually wouldn't have been. And my best friend had a boyfriend at the time, and I was actually friends with him, and we have the same birthday, and it was his 21st birthday and my 22nd. So we thought, we have a lot of mutual friends. Why don't we just all celebrate together? And so before the party, my friend and I wanted to go on an Olive Garden date just so we could girl talk and everything. But her boyfriend said, well, my cousin, he is going to go to the party, but I don't want him to have to drive alone. Can he ride with you? And I was like, this is the most annoying thing ever. Who is this guy? Is going to ruin my time with my best friend. And my best friend had met him before, so it wasn't like some random like creeper person like that could kill us or anything. But we met him in a Denny's parking lot, because that's what you do where I'm from. In the middle of nowhere, you just meet there. And the second he got out of his Jeep, I looked at my friend and said, oh my gosh, is he my birthday present? And he was.
That's so cute. I love it. Oh my
And
gosh.
we hit it off, and it was just perfect. We like broke off from the party and just talked all night, and he's just wonderful. So I fully believe in God winks, because if I hadn't had a terrible year, and hadn't been back home, I would have never met him. And plus, he like went to my high school some part of the day, and I never passed him, never knew him. It's because I wasn't ready for him yet. And it's just insane how things work out. And yeah, I totally believe in God winks for sure.
So cute. I'm so glad you got to share that.
Yeah.
This is so exciting. So yeah, it was really cute. And I don't know. The movie was, it's not like it broke the mold as far as the story, but it was just so sweet. And he was, Paul Campbell, I really think that this is his best role. I really do. I thought that he was so like heartwarming and sweet, and I don't know, I just loved him in this role.
Oh my gosh, remember when they left each other at the airport the second time? And
there's that hug
and you died.
Yeah,
they didn't even like say goodbye, they just like hugged and left, both crying quietly.
Yeah. And she did such a good job too, like when she tells him that she's in this other relationship.
Oh my gosh.
That scene, whoa.
If I didn't know this movie was going to have a happy ending, I would have been furious.
Really enjoyed the whole busybody matchmaker at the end, Kathy Lee Gifford. That was super fun. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I thought that it was really touching and sweet and really great little Christmas movie. How he sang at the end.
I loved everything about it.
Yeah, it wasn't like super Christmassy, I wouldn't say, compared to Christmas and Evergreen, but
they went to the tree lighting and made ornaments.
Yeah,
like the whole time. What do you mean it wasn't super Christmassy?
I had a few things, but I wouldn't say. I feel like this movie could very easily just be another holiday. Could be, and they'd only have to make. They could be making Valentine's at the thing, and almost everything else would be the same.
I strongly disagree with that.
Oh, okay.
I also strongly disagree with that.
I thought it was pretty Christmas.
I was picking my battles. I don't battle about things like whether or not this movie is Christmassy enough, but I do battle you about whether or not everything else exists.
All right. Well, good. So yeah, it was a really lovely little movie. And so Amber, how many crowns are you giving it?
I gave it 4.975 crowns.
Very
Wow.
good. Very good.
For me, I'm just going to explain where the deduction came from.
Yes.
I needed a little bit more of a denouement because we don't even really see them. Like, what?
What's a denouement?
That's
I also don't know.
That's the falling action at the end of a story after there's been the climax and everything's like the final pulling together of the final pieces.
Amber pulling out the French. This is very exciting.
Woo.
That's what it's just called in literature and film. This is like the time when I talked about bumpers and you were like, bumpers?
Oh my gosh. So anyway, continue.
Or interstitials. That was the one you were
interstitials.
Yeah, I
was thinking,
remember
what is that
because
word?
of you.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I needed a little more because she shows up at the at the carousel, and they're like, well, we're in love, perfect. But we don't really see them. Like, I could have used an epilogue or like a little bit longer of a conversation. Even them like walking away from the carousel would have given me a little bit more closure.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Emma, what about you?
Okay. So I don't want to get beat up right now.
I will never beat you up, Emma.
Well, we'll see.
Rachel might.
I definitely overhyped it to myself. Like I don't know, I make my expectations too high for everything, and then they always fall short because I don't know, I'm just an extreme person. And I really enjoyed it and I loved them together, but I did feel like the story was a little slow for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this people staring at me right now, this tension. But also I know that not everything has to be super funny, but I felt like their comedic chops weren't used like they could have been, because I know they're both really funny and I know it was a heartwarming story, but I still need just a little bit more humor. So I gave it 4 crowns.
Yeah. Very good. So I will give it 4.5 crowns. I did feel like there was a few parts that got a little bit languid, but I have never given above a 4 to a Paul Campbell movie.
Really?
Yeah, there's just always been something missing in the girls that he's partnered with for me. It's just never quite worked. But I've really always loved him, and I do like the movies. I just don't love them. This is definitely my favorite of any movie that he's done. Personally.
Is this your favorite Paul Campbell movie, Emma?
No, it's not.
Which one's your favorite?
The Once Upon a Holiday.
Once Upon a Holiday, yeah.
Just because it's, I don't know,
it's a fun
peppier.
One. I think
I mean, I really like heartwarming stories. There's just something missing in it for me, and it's probably because I hyped it up too much, to be honest.
See, I felt that they did a great job of letting Paul Campbell and Kimberly Sested bring the funny to it. Okay. I mean, obviously there were the times where they cried, but basically every time where they were together, they were just having so much fun and being so like happy and silly together that it felt enough for me.
And I have it at number 8 on my ranking. I have it just below Darrow and Darrow, the last one, and just above Christmas and Evergreen 2. So it's pretty good weekend, I would say. So how do you guys have the ranking of these 4? What about you, Emma?
Well, I'm flabbergasted, but number 1 is Christmas and Evergreen Letters to Santa. 2 is A God Week Christmas. 3 is Christmas in Graceland. And 4 is The Return to Christmas Creek.
Yeah. Mine's pretty close. I have Godwink at 1, Evergreen at 2, and Graceland at 3, and Creek at 4.
And none of us agreed with each other because I have a Godwink at 1, Christmas in Evergreen at 2, Return to Christmas Creek at 3, and Christmas at Graceland at 4.
Very good.
We're all over the place.
Response from our Twitter feed of people of their ranking of these movies. We have from Mark of Hallmark and Jess. We have number 1, Return to Christmas Creek. He says The Returnering. 2, Christmas in Evergreen 2, The K&M Conundrum. 3, A Godwink Christmas, Rise of the GIF. I'm not sure what any of this means. He has 4, Every Other Movie, and 5, Christmas at Graceland, Peacock's Revenge. So he hated Christmas at Graceland.
This is why Mark Nix and I get along so well.
That's right. There you go. So Georgia had lots of thoughts. She says,
She did.
Yes. So the only one I saw all the way from the beginning to the end was Christmas at Graceland. Godwink and Evergreen both seemed super cute when I watched parts of them. Christmas Creek was rough and I did not enjoy it, sadly. But here's my take. I think a lot of people are taking cheap shots at Kelly Pickler because they know it was her first acting gig. So who can say whether or not it was her best work? I've seen worse acting, even in Hallmark movies, even by fan favorites. I thought the story was simple enough and stayed focused. Pickler and Wes had good chemistry and seemed like they really would giggle all the time. I wasn't a fan of the music, still not a country fan, but the movie was cute and sweet. Then we have Laura, who said Christmas in Evergreen 2 is her favorite. And she said, considering the first movie wasn't really a favorite of mine, I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed the sequel. Loved all the characters, and Jill and Mark had awesome chemistry. 2 was Godwink's, 3, Return to Christmas Creek, 4, Christmas at Graceland. Waiting in the Pumpkin Patch said, 1, Godwink Christmas. Kimberly Sested gave an excellent performance. 2, Christmas in Evergreen. 3, Return to Christmas Creek. 4, Christmas at Graceland. Amy Lynn Craig, Godwink, Christmas Creek, Evergreen, and Graceland. And I'll just leave it at that. So please make sure you give us your comments and your rankings and other things. We love hearing from you and hearing what you thought of the films. And that's always so much fun. So Emma, how can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Hallremark, and you can find my recaps and reviews on thehallremark.com.
Great. And Amber?
As always, I'm at Amber Brainwaves on Twitter, and that's it.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews on iTunes and on YouTube, so please check that out. And let us know what your thoughts are on all of these films. And thanks again so much. And we've got lots of exciting stuff on the podcast coming, so we're really looking forward to that. And Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas! Goodbye!